Hi everybody, it's April. I thought I would go ahead and share with you my thoughts on the Tim Holtz Tonic Media Mat. And as I mentioned before, I didn't want to give you a review until I really felt something about it and had something to say. Well, now I do. So I've been working with it for the last couple of weeks, I would say, maybe a little bit more. And it finally dawned on me in the last couple of videos how much I really enjoy having this surface. Okay, so this entire mat, I'm going to insert some photos of what it looks like on my desk. So please just disregard the mess of my desk. But as you can see, it has a lot of room. On my desk, it's not as big as you would think. I apologize for my heater turning on. It's super cold down here in the basement. But the width of the mat is not very high. You can see it in comparison to a little roll of washi tape. So it is a very thin, heavy piece of tempered glass. So it stays pretty firm on the craft desk. And again, it's not really that big. My actual mat is bigger than the media mat. So anyhow, I hope those pictures came across the screen for you to look at. And the one side has the surface that you can work on. I'll probably take another photo to show you what it looks like underneath. I can move this here in just a moment too. You have a craft working mat on this side. So this is just a slick piece of craft mat that removes and it'll lift up. You can replace it, which I have the replacement mat. The only thing I do not have is the, additional accessories you can purchase. He has some like rulers that will fit the width and length of this mat. I do not own those, but I might actually get some just to check it out. And those are more geared for, I would think, scrapbookers who want to utilize the glass for cutting their papers very quickly or tearing it to get a sharp edge up against that ruler that he's designed to go with the mat. So I'll put a link to everything down below where you can find this media mat. I personally think it would make a wonderful Christmas gift. So in case you have a crafty friend or someone in your family that likes to craft or art or paint, I think this would be really versatile for anyone that likes to craft. So anyhow, I thought I would just show a few little demonstrations of what this mat can do. And what surprised me and finally hit me over the last couple of days is that I don't need to go anywhere, get anything when I'm changing techniques. So for stamping purposes, I can stamp hard on the glass, whereas normally you would want some type of cushion underneath you when you're stamping, whether it be a mouse pad or one of the paper pads. I was using a Stampin' Up paper pad, like a calendar. But you want a little bit of a surface underneath your stamping for that pressure. And I learned that early on when I first started crafting to use a mouse pad. And that definitely improved my impression that I was getting on my paper when I was stamping. So with this, I haven't noticed that I have any issues in regards to having a cushion underneath versus a hard glass. So let me just show you really quickly. Let me grab a stamp. You would think I had one ready, but I do not. This is a Lawn Fawn Mom and Me. And I'm just going to stamp it out in, let me see, use VersaFine because this is watercolor paper. So I haven't noticed any problems with stamping is what my point is, as far as stamping on a hard glass. Now this is textured paper because it's watercolor paper, but I'm getting a pretty good solid pressure there when I stamp down. So again, this is just textured cardstock or, watercolor paper. So anyhow, but I don't notice any problems with that. And then, obviously with heating, you can heat things up. It's glass. So being that it is glass, I don't have to worry about my heat tool burning paper or anything underneath, my project. So, okay, so, and now I don't even have to go anywhere As far as if I want to start putting ink on here, I can actually just bring the ink to my work surface. I don't have to go grab anything. If I wanted to work on the mat, I can work on the mat. If I want to work on the glass, I can work on the glass. It's just going to be a little bit different as far as how visible it is. Now this is the pigment ink oxide, so obviously it's a little bit brighter on that on the dark surface versus the white surface. I can go in and add water to my surface. I don't have to worry about, you know, I'm working on a paper pad, so I do like that about it. And I can flat out just sit here and paint off of my surface. So I like that. And not that this paper is doing me any favors. Let me dampen this a little bit. There we go. But so again, you know, I can go in either to the right of myself on this craft mat and work, or I can work right off of the glass. And I'm just giving you an example here. I'm not trying to be, you know, making a project. I'm just goofing around. Okay, so anyhow, but the point is with this is that I can work on either side of this surface here, okay? And then, you know, same thing with bringing your paints. You can have all your paints laid out on your surface. You could go and use this as a palette if you wanted to. Let's say you were working with acrylic paint. I don't really use acrylic paint, but if I wanted to, let me grab one real quick and I'll show you. Okay, I just went ahead and grabbed my tub of project paints. So what I'm saying here is, so like your distress stain, you know, you could put some of that on here. Your, let's see, this is a acrylic. Is it watercolor? No, it's acrylic. So you could put that on here if you wanted to put a little dab. I don't think it's open. There you go. Making a mess that just squirted everywhere. So you get the idea. You could spray your, you know, spray stains on here. You know, kind of mixing it up. I'm not worried about anything. Re-inkers, if you wanted to drop some drops of re-inker on your surface, you know. I'll put a little bit right there. And we have some just basic distress paint. Okay, so a variety of things that you can put all over this surface here. And if I wanted to wet anything, I could do that, you know, and pick it up that way. Let me grab some more paper. And I'm just going to kind of go in here. And I'm sure it's going to be hideous. But let's go ahead and just swipe some of that up there. So again, just working all over this surface, you know. And I am getting some of that paint over here, which I'm not concerned about because I can go in and clean that up. So that's a hideous mess there, but you get the point, okay? So I'm just going to go now and take, excuse me, I'm going to take my water sprayer and some paper towels. If you have just a towel that you use to clean things up, that would work too. Now, if for any reason this had dried, and let's say it was the acrylic paint, everything water-based would come up right away. If I were to drop some alcohol ink on here, I would just use alcohol or hand sanitizer to remove it. Acrylic paint, if that were to dry on the surface, again, you know, you could take a little razor blade and get it off if it was too stuck. Also, Tim Holtz recommends using the alcohol solution and also hand sanitizer to get different inks off of your surface. So anyhow, that is just the basics of what I've noticed is that I can really just do everything right here in front of me. I don't need to go get my brown, you know, Ranger Craft mat, or I don't have to go get my blending mat because the blending mat is already here. So with like glitter paste, same thing, you know, you could slap this on, work on your surface. If I wanted to color this paste, you know, I just don't have to go anywhere, is what I really am enjoying about this. And I think I need to, let me do something here real quick. So let's pull this up. This is the craft mat, and this just comes right off. And I don't know how well you can see that on camera, but it has some squares here. So I could go in with some distress inks or any of my mini cubes. Let me grab some. Oh, dropping things. So I could take any of these and go ahead and stamp them because they're going to fit perfectly with these squares. Stamp these out. So over here could be my watercolor palette. You know, I could put all of these colors over here and then work from this side. You know, you have 4 or 5 rows, so you have 20 squares, or 25. Let me see. Yeah, so you have 25 rows there. And so you get the idea as far as working with, and you could have done the same thing. Instead of squishing all of your products on the black side on the glass, you could put it, now this is glass on top, so it's still working on glass. There is no difference here going from the black to the white. It's just a, you know, one layer of glass across the whole thing. So regardless, what I was saying is that you could work from this side as well, you know, as your watercolor. Okay, and then I could take, you know, little dabs of this paste and then work in my color. So again, there is no difference here between these two. So I could go in here and just really, you know, work on this surface as a palette, a mixing palette. I'll bring it back over here so you can see a little bit better. So just coloring that glitter paste. And even with this glitter paste, you know how hard it would set on if you were working on something and it would get all sticky, like on your stencils. You know, it's going to come right up off of this glass. Okay, so you get the idea there. Making a big mess, but it's right here in front of me. I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to go put anything back now. I don't have to go put a, you know, little palettes you buy for watercoloring. You don't have to go put your mat away. You don't have to do anything because it's all right here. And I probably sound redundant saying that, but it's just, you know, that is kind of what the purpose of this is. And then I'll just get that cleaned up, and it is a little bit, I can see some residue in here, so I'm just going to take my, this is just some rubbing alcohol spray, and I'm just going to go back and get over this. So now we are not only clean, but we are sterile. Okay. So, what else can I think of? So, only other thing I wanted to mention, which I don't utilize, or I haven't utilized yet, is cutting. So, if I wanted to, if I had his creative corners, I would use that, but I don't. So, I'm going to use his regular ruler. It has a metal edge. And so, I can just line this right up on the glass and come in with my blade. And because, of course, I can't go straight for the life of me, but just going along the edge, I can easily cut on this, and there's no scratches on this glass. So, again, I think that would be more for, you know, scrapbookers. So, anyhow, I hope that this was helpful. please leave a comment down below. Let me know if you've gotten the media mat, if you like it, what your thoughts are, and is there anything that you have found that you enjoy about it that I might not be aware of? And also, did you get any of those accessories that come with the mat, or you not come with it, but that you can order separately? I'd love to know more about those. And yeah, so I hope this was helpful. Thanks so much for watching my channel. I apologize for the sound of the heater if that was a problem. And yeah, I just think this would be a great Christmas gift to give someone, one of your crafty friends. Okay, thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a great day. Bye.